Yeah, I don't ever remember feeling like this. But I'm out here in these YouTube streets. So I want you to get your fingers.
I don't know what you're doing.
I want you to
right
get
now,
your mouse.
I want you to check me out.
And I want you to check me out.
Get ready to do this. It's the relationship rehab. Like, share, and subscribe. We coming at you live. So come on, let's take a ride. Then subscribe to United Guns of America. Just click that link and listen up to what I'm telling you. It's the relationship rehab.
Click that link right now. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy Brian Revin, and I just want y'all to subscribe to my channel. You know what I'm saying? I want you to let me know what you think. I'm gonna talk about some things, you can talk about some things, and we can do our thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all about having a conversation, right? I mean, if we can't talk to each other, then, I mean, what are we really here for? I want y'all to be able to just come over to my channel, talk to me about what's going on with you, and I can tell you what's going on with me, and we can build some things, you know what I'm saying? That's all about growth, baby. So click that link, go ahead and swipe on your phone, whatever you gotta do. Share my content. It's just get me out here, baby. Cause we just talking, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I like doing what I'm doing because it's about the people. It's about us having a conversation with each other. It's about us discussing whatever needs to be discussed. And on these YouTube streets, this is the best place to do it, baby. Like, share, and subscribe. That's right. Click the link. Click the link. Yeah. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's out here that's already subscribed. You know what I'm saying? Cause y'all ain't the first one, and y'all ain't the last one. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody that done click the link, that done click the share, and then subscribe to your boy. Cause we gon' grow this thing together, baby. Relationship rehabbing, United Guns of America. To the world blow up, baby. Yeah. Click the link, baby. Click the link, baby. Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to send a shout out to all y'all. I love y'all. That's why I do this. It's for the love of us, baby. I appreciate all of y'all. Ooh, we gon' do this thing. We gon' do this thing right here, baby. Hey, look, if you at a computer right now, just go ahead and click your link. What else you got to lose, baby? Tell me what you think. Hit the comment section. You can jump on the live panel. We do it all here. That's what it's all about. So come holler at your boy. I've been doing this for years, but I just got onto this YouTube thing. So hey, let's see what it do and where it can go.
To United Guns of America. Just click the link and listen up to what I'm telling you.
On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you. That's not possible. Tell me when you weather the storm. 'Cause I need somebody who will stand by me. Through the good times and bad times, you will always be right there. Ooh, sunny days, everybody loves them. Tell me, baby, can you stand the rain? Yeah. Storms will come, this we know for sure. Can you stand the rain? Lance want me to stop singing because his mama loves it. All unconditional. I'm not asking this of you. That's what I be singing to Mrs. Little. That's not like it last. Do whatever needs to be done. 'Cause I need somebody who will stand by me. With a good dream, your woman, you will always be right there for me. Miss Little, I know you love me. Tell me, baby, can you stand the rain? Come on, everybody, sing with me. Let's ask Lance Mama, Storms will come. I know all the days won't be perfect, baby. Saying it. That's right, Miss Little. Can you stand the rain? No. Can you stand the no pressure? No pressure from me, Miss Little. Yeah, 'cause I want you and I need you and I love you. Will you be there for me? Look at Miss Little. Come on, Mrs. Little. Let's go get wet. Ooh, yeah, Miss Little. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the Relationship Rehab. I am your host, Brian Redmond, and on tonight we gonna have ourselves a great show. Shout out to Miss Little, my baby. I love her and miss her so much. Lance just don't like me to sing, y'all, because when I would be over at the house, Lance would hear me singing to his mama, and he would get mad. It's all right, Lance. Y'all like that part? I was like, come on, Miss Little. Let's go get wet. Woo! That's Miss Little. When I say that, that's the part she do. She be like, woo! I love you too, bro. Y'all know Lance, that's my little brother, man. That's my little brother. Yeah, but even though George is in charge of him, but that's my little brother still, nonetheless. But I'm excited to be here with y'all tonight. We're going to have ourselves a great show. I must apologize because I meant to do a show the last 2 nights, but due to a series, so I had some lickety snippets, lickety snicket nights. Due to a bunch of series of unfortunate events, I was too tired to do the damn show. I'm just saying, I know. I'm sorry. I had every intention on going live, but I fell asleep literally prepping the show. I'm just saying, nigga was tired. Been working hard. It's been a hard day and night, and I've been working like a dog. But I'm good now. I'm back, and man, we gonna have ourselves a great show tonight. Shout out to everybody in Shoto Nation. Shout out to Tom and Shoto My Oil. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's watching this on the replay. But thank you, everybody that's coming through. I don't know if you in charge of Black or not. You might be, Lance. I don't know. Black been slipping lately. I don't know. We might be. But I just wanted to let you guys know, like I said, I had every intention on definitely doing the show these last 2 nights, but I just couldn't. And y'all know me, as much as I will try to do a show and want to do a show, if I physically can't do it, I ain't just gonna go live just for the sake of going live and be sitting here nodding out on y'all niggas and have that sleep look. You know, when you be live and you see niggas that be going live for 24 hours and they don't be talking about shit and they just be sitting there like, I ain't doing that. So I'm just telling y'all, I'm not doing that shit to y'all. I ain't gonna be falling asleep and shit like that. No, I won't. I just won't do it. I'll just say, hey, I'm going to hit it next night because I know I'm going to give y'all a great show. So, with that being said, yeah, I wanted to talk tonight about the, and it's so odd to me, you know, this ain't the first time I've been just straight up right about some shit. That happens because I'm right most of the time. But, be that as it may, I'm really shocked at how they're holding back coming out with all of the evidence and the footage and all of that stuff, because my thing is, it's eventually going to have to come out. I don't know why they're trying to slow down the pace of just this information, and that's why I keep saying this and y'all know I've been saying this for a long time. I really wish that there would be some type of legislation that will come forth to where body cam footage that is worn by police officers must be released. I don't give a damn what the situation is. I don't care what kind of case is going on. Body cam footage should definitely be released to the public via the FOIA request within 72 hours. You get, well, I'd say no, within 5 days. 5 days is enough time for them to redact like personal information out of it. But all of that snipping shit, that needs to be federal law to where you cannot edit that shit. The only thing that you can mute, not edit, not snip, but you can only mute information. You can only, I mean, not information, but personal information. If you're not muting PI, personal information, or nothing like that, hey man, that shit got to come out. That shit has to come out. If it ain't PI or if it's not a child's, face or some shit like that, that shit needs to be released. You can blur out for minors, you can blur out their faces, but yeah, your personal information, that's the only thing that can be redacted from a FOIA request. Everything else has to be released. That's just what it is. And they should give any police department, whether you NYPD or you Uvalde PD, you got 5 days, and that's it. Figure it out, get your story together, do whatever you gonna do, but you have 5 days to drop that footage. And if you don't, then you are a direct violation of the law. The FBI gonna come see your ass, and it's gonna be on. It's gonna be on. So I'm just telling you, that's just what it is. I'm just telling you, that's just how it needs to be. But that's the kind of stuff that I wish our legislation would spend a lot of time on, instead of trying to find out how much money they're going to vote to send over to the goddamn Ukraine. Just saying. I'm going to keep throwing that shit out there. But because it's so important when it comes to stuff like that to say, hey, we need to be transparent, because with these police departments talking about all this transparency, and we want to do what's best for our citizens because we work for you. Then do just that. Work for me and give me the information that I'm requesting, as opposed to finding out a bunch of ways that you can't give me that information. So it's one of those things. I really wish that we could really get just in stone, get it finalized, and get the legislation, get it signed into law. So that's what it is. So shout out to a guy over here on the United Guns of America channel. He says, his name is Here We Go Again. He says, just found your channel when I watched your video on the Ian Cranston shooting. You keep it real, my dude. Hey, thank you, man. I try my best. And I hope you enjoy the show tonight. But yeah, I definitely want us to really do something about that, because I believe that that really does matter, and it really makes a difference as far as how we look at our law enforcement. Number one, it will help to make our law enforcement officers more honest. I don't think that they are, well, I don't think the greater majority of them, upwards of 98, 99% of them, are intentionally trying to be dishonest. But I think that when that, to know that footage that that's being recorded is definitely going to be put out and is going to be released, it will make police officers behave differently. It will make them, their approach different. It will make them look at certain things different, because they know that stuff is coming out. So that's my thing about it. I did want to show you guys something real quick. Let me see if I got it, because if I don't, I'm just going to show it on my next show. But let me see if I have it. Is it here? Don't think so. Dang it. Nah, I don't have it. Ah, crap. Oh, well. Oh, no, I do. Hold up.
This video has been making its rounds on social media. A woman kicking and jumping on this car at the Dodge's Chicken on
Democratic State Senator Roland.
This video has been making its...
Yeah, man, this is wild. Yep, I got it. Okay, look, I want y'all to check this out. So, in preparation of the show I was doing the other night, I want to show y'all this. And I want y'all to just see what we do and how we do shit. This was taken back just a couple weeks ago. And when I saw this, I'm just like, there is a part of us as a race that we need to address immediately. And because we don't, when we talking about having a bad look, or we talk about saying, yeah, man, they just ain't, man, look, I just don't. We have too many moments as black folks where people can just say, I don't know, man. Like, there's nothing I can say. I want y'all to just look at this. Look at this shit and just look at what we do. This is ridiculous. Check this shit out. Now, this is at a place called Dodge's Chicken. Watch.
This video has been making its rounds on social media. A woman kicking and jumping on this car at the Dodge's Chicken on South 3rd in Southwest Memphis.
Wow. This?
Memphis police say the woman is now wanted for simple assault and vandalism. While all that was going on, police say a man went into the car and stole from it.
When you see something like that, what goes through your mind?
Road rage. Mad, angry.
Police say the incident happened earlier this month, but they need your help identifying them. MPD says the victim says it all started with an accident, and then words were exchanged. As you can see, things quickly escalated.
It is not this serious, because people killing people nowadays. It's too dangerous.
In the video, you see the man take the victim's purse out of her car, and then it appears things turn physical between the passenger in the red car and the woman in white. Police say the suspect got back in her car, pulled in front of the victim, got out, and directed her anger towards the victim's car.
At this point, everybody needs to just walk away. And if it's an accident, then call the police.
Memphis police say the incident was not reported until after the fact. Dennis Braden lives in the area, and he says he's not too surprised to see something like this.
They ride every day fast coming out of Mississippi. And they not from Memphis. They coming through flying. So it's nothing new here.
Police say the suspects got away in a black Nissan. Reporting in Southwest Memphis, Kwame True-Wilborn, WREG, News Channel 3.
Look at that shit.
And if you know who these suspects are, contact Crime Stoppers at 528-CASH.
Now,
Democratic State Senator Roland Gutierrez.
Let me tell y'all this. And I know that some people ain't gonna like it, and I know that some people gonna, call me whatever you gonna call me, a coon and all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna tell y'all like this. This is something that happens quite often, believe it or not. And the road rage, whatever you want to call it, I'm telling y'all people like this. These people are savages. These niggas will do any and everything to you that they possibly can think of. Whatever happened with them, let's say it was this person cut me off or this person cut me off. This person was standing there in the line and wasn't moving fast enough, so I honked my horn and they had words, and that's how it ended. A motherfucker jumping on your car while this other nigga is stealing your purse out your car. When y'all go out here in these streets and y'all go out here in the world, if you ain't prepared to shoot a nigga, and I use nigga as a noun, it ain't just restricting the color, just a nigga, period. You better be prepared to be a victim. And I'm telling you right now, these niggas will never stop, and they don't have any type of okay, that's enough. They will never do that. So you better be ready to literally dispatch these niggas yourself, or be prepared to be a Uber victim, super victim. I saw a video today of a woman getting her face beat with a fucking cell phone to the point to where she looked like Martin. You know, when Martin got hit by Tommy Hearns, she had lumps like that on her face. And the woman was beating her face with the cell phone because of what? she was sleeping with her man. And you know what's so funny to me about that? There's not a single instance where I've seen it to be warranted where a woman beat another woman for sleeping with her man. That is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Why would you be mad at the woman for sleeping with your man? I don't understand that. Like, what is it that's gonna make you say, yeah, I need to beat her ass, but the nigga that did it is your nigga, but you won't beat his ass with no phone? You won't beat that nigga face with a phone, but you'll beat her face with a phone. And I just can't understand it. There is no instance and no situation where I've seen where a woman justifiably got her ass beat. I saw that, remember that video I did a while ago about the woman who had a gun on the chick and was just beating her in the face because she slept with her man? And I'm just telling you, it's like one of those things where it just never ceases to amaze me as to how a woman will respond to another woman about her man, but won't do that shit to her man. Just won't. Just won't do it. And it's like it's like the things that women do, and more specifically what black women are allowed to do. They can destroy property, they can destroy people, they can destroy children, they can destroy whatever the hell they want. They are probably some of the most destructive human beings on the planet. And it's like we've gotten to the point to where we don't even get surprised about it no more. Did you see how those people, and that's my other thing about that video, did you see how those people were just watching the video? No shock value. Right, Alex? Tommy ain't never lied about that shit. They won't stop until they die. The only time they stop is when they die or they are nearing death. Those people watched that video and was just looking at it like, yeah, I don't know. She just road rage, you know? You know, at some point you should just stop. Not like, damn, this bitch crazy. Man, what the fuck is wrong with her? None of that. They just will not stop. And I'm telling you, I am convinced I will not play with none of these niggas. I'm not. I'm not trying to figure them out. I'm not trying to understand where they're coming from. I'm not trying to do none of that shit. These niggas come my way with that stupid shit. I'm gonna instantly turn into your afterlife coordinator and get your meeting and shit set up with Peter and them at the gates. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Oh, afterlife coordinator time. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Man and woman alike. All that equal rights for women. Y'all want to be, you acting like a dude and all that shit. That's what's gonna happen. Yup. You gonna get it too. Because I'm telling you, and the reason, and I know it may sound harsh, I know it may sound, oh man, you just doing too much. I know it may sound that way, but I promise y'all this, I've seen too many instances where people have died trying to be nice to niggas. I've seen too many people get fucking seriously injured trying to be nice to niggas. Trying to be Martin Luther King, non-violent, will get your ass fucked up seriously. I'm telling you. So that's just my advice to y'all, because I'm seeing this shit and it ain't gonna get no better. It ain't gonna get no better. Trust and believe that. Don't y'all be thinking, oh, we gonna turn it around. It's gonna get better. Nope, it ain't. Niggas are gonna continue to be niggas. This nigga said chili, chili, bang, bang. It's not chili, chili. It's chitty, chitty. And you would think he drunk or high. He not. Lance got what you call. Lance, I'm going to tell you what's wrong. You want to know what's wrong with Lance?
I'd like to explain something. I ain't punchy. I got what you call like I don't know, a relaxed brain, but I ain't punchy, you know? It's just the way I talk here.
What's the difference?
Lance has a relaxed brain, ladies and gentlemen. He has what you would call a relaxed brain, all right? He's not punchy or nothing like that, but, you know, he just got like a relaxed brain. That's just what it is. But let's go ahead and let's move into the show. Without further ado, my favorite part of the show.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Yes, indeed. So, Uvalde. Shooting occurred. For those of you who don't, well, everybody should know by now. If you don't know, I don't know where you've been. But shooting has occurred, and all of the shit I pretty much said should have happened has now finally starting to come out and to be reiterated to confirm what it is that I was talking about. But now they're starting to have hearings about this situation, and now they've released a picture of what was going on in the school at the time the shooting occurred. And it has been determined just by the timeline that some lives, not all, but some, could have potentially been saved had these officers, once they got set up in that hallway, would have just went in. Now, there's a video of the pediatrician that was actually like basically there on the scene. And I was going to play it, but it was too graphic and it was so bad that I said, no, I'm not. I just wouldn't do that. It didn't serve any purpose to do it. So that's why I said I'm going to hold off and nah, forget it. But I want you guys, they're going to show the actual picture. It's a still picture, not in the classroom or anything like that, but just a still picture of these officers in the hallway waiting, which is like just the worst thing. And I'm going to tell you like this. The thing about this particular shooting, this is going to go down in the history books as one of the worst shootings ever by the way it was handled by the police. This is going to be the teachable moment going forward. This is going to be the educational scenario of what they're going to teach police officers what not to do and why you don't. They'll be referring to this. Just like how they referred to Columbine after the truth started coming out about Columbine, they did the same thing. Columbine became the measuring tool. Columbine became the example of what not to do. And now these guys got the belt, if you will. They are now going to be the prime example of what not to do. And yes, they've even rumored, since CJ Gunn mentioned it, they've even rumored, it hasn't been confirmed, but there is a rumor potentially saying that the door was unlocked all along and they never tried it. So the whole thing, we waiting for the keys. We didn't have a Halligan tool. We was waiting on the key. It's rumored that them looking at the video footage, they never tried the door.
Today, the head of Texas DPS revealed new details about the law enforcement response to the Uvalde school shooting and called it a failure.
Senate and House committees holding separate hearings at the state capitol today on the shooting that left 19 kids and 2 teachers dead in Uvalde just 1 month ago. The House hearing happened behind closed doors, and the Uvalde CISD police chief, Pete Arredondo, showed up to testify today.
Testimony in the Senate hearing was public. Now, this is a live look at the Senate chamber right now, where the Senate hearing is still going on. And earlier today, DPS Director Steve McGraw detailed what police did while they were on the scene.
There's compelling evidence that the law enforcement response to the attack at Robb Elementary was an abject failure and antithetical to everything we've learned over the last 2 decades since the Columbine massacre.
See how they referred to Columbine as like the Columbine was made because Columbine was like the first one that happened the way that it did, and it was so much unnecessary carnage that occurred, which is why they used Columbine as the standard of what not to do. Because even though those officers followed protocol, they actually did what they were trained to do. They looked at what Columbine did, what they did in Columbine and what happened there, and they used that as a blueprint to say, no, we need to change this. We need to change this. And that was one of the things that it's one of those things where, as unfortunate as Columbine was, as unfortunate as all active shooters are, you have to learn from those mistakes so that you won't repeat them. And once you've learned from those mistakes, you rely on and follow your training to the T. My man Nintendo Mencia said, smoking that cigar like MJ after Game 6. I'm telling you, baby. But that's why you do that. So that, hey, man, we had an unfortunate event that occurred. We handled it wrong. And now going forward, this is the standard on what we're going to change. That was the catalyst for the current active shooter stuff that's happening today. That shooting changed how officers respond. It changed the approach. It changed the whole playbook. And it also made other law enforcement departments come together to agree on these standards to say, this is what we all gonna do. This is what we're all gonna do going forward so that this won't happen like this ever again. Yes, please hit that like
Tonight,
button.
we have team coverage of the hearings.
Senior reporter Tony Plahetsky here in the studio with us. Matt Fernandez is live at the state capitol this afternoon. We start tonight with Tony, who's been following the Senate hearing all day today.
And Tony, the director of DPS, calling the law enforcement response a failure. That is pretty significant.
I have to say, his comments, which spanned hours, were devastating, and frankly, they were scathing. According to Steve McCraw, he is the director of the Texas Department of Public Safety.
And the thing is, it's like, this is not a thing to where I believe that politicians and so on and so forth are trying to grandstand and trying to, make this part of their political agenda to get attention and all that kind of stuff, to say, we're going to tear down these police officers. Nope. This is one of those things to where had they just been transparent from the beginning, a lot of this would now be a moot point. Had Pete Arredondo just said, I panicked, I didn't know, or I was afraid, whatever the case may be, due to the series of events and the way that things occur, I did not follow the training, then that would have taken a lot of the heat off as far as parents and citizens are concerned about, so what are we supposed to do? How does this go? And that's one of the reasons why this guy from DPS has to keep speaking and reiterating what's supposed to happen. That's why all of the other law enforcement agencies and law enforcement officers are coming out saying, no, we got this figured out, guys. They just didn't follow it. And it's just one of those unfortunate things to where in trying to, do damage control after the fact, there's some things you can't do that with. And this is one of those things, because there was such a large amount of life that was lost, and it was due to just not following protocol, not following training. And because of that, it's one of those things to where you can't try to smooth this over. You can't just let this blow up and then let it, it'll die down. Not on this type of stuff here, because this was so important. Because people now, if I didn't know how this shit goes, I would be concerned. Well, what the fuck is the police department gonna do here if it happens in my neighborhood? If it happens in this area, what are they gonna do? And it's like, for somebody who doesn't know that and how this goes, I would be really, really concerned about my children.
And he gave a minute-by-minute account investigators have put together using security and body camera footage. And then he gave a stark conclusion that law enforcement failed to act quickly enough. McCraw said that within minutes of the first officers arriving, they had enough firepower and protection to do anything possible to stop the gunman, and that they did so, and that they had a duty to do so. He said,
and that was my thing. It doesn't matter if you got a handgun, if you got a slingshot and a rock. It's like, you can't stop and wait on something like this. You just can't. That's like an off-duty firefighter watching a house that got smoke coming out of it, waiting, and then when the house is burning and is an inferno, saying, well, I couldn't go in. Well, what about when there was smoke outside, man? Well, I was waiting on the fire truck to get here. The fire engine wasn't here. Neither was the fire truck. Neither was... It's like, whoa, wait, bro. You have training to at least try to help get people out. Why didn't you at least do that? It would be the same thing. It's just like with law enforcement officers, police officers. There have been police officers that have lost their jobs being off duty and literally watching a crime. Literally watch the crime. There was a female, I can specifically remember in Chicago, in my neighborhood, there was a female sergeant who was at Jules on 115th and Halsted. Shout out to Jules on 115th and Halsted in Wild Hunters. They were, she was there getting her clothes out the cleaners, because there was a cleaners actually in this Jules. Don't ask me why, but there was a cleaners in this Jules grocery store. Jules grocery store is like a Kroger or like a Albertsons or something like that. So she's in there and she sees these dudes come in and rob the bank that was in there. You know how grocery stores have little banks and stuff? Well, these niggas came in there to rob the bank. And they came in and she sat there and literally she stood there and watched. And they was like, well, damn, bitch, you didn't pull your gun out? You didn't do nothing? Nope. They fired her ass for that. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. You have to do something. Yes, I understand sometimes you got to be a good witness if somebody got a gun on you, but it was like she was standing there just watching the whole shit go down and wasn't even in any danger and didn't go after them or nothing. Didn't run outside after them and get a plate, nothing. She sat there and watched that whole shit unfold and was like, damn. And it was like, well, wait a minute. Bitch, you a sergeant. What the fuck is wrong with you? Lost her job. Lost her job because she didn't act.
That even one officer, he said, would have been enough to act more quickly, but that instead, more than an hour passed before a team breached that classroom door.
3 minutes after the subject entered the West Building, there was a sufficient number of armed officers wearing body armor to isolate, distract, and neutralize the subject.
And here's the thing. This guy is talking about this report. I mean, he's bringing this report because he's actually seen the video. They have access to this footage. They're watching the school camera footage and body camera footage. They have the audio and video. They're listening to all this shit, how this shit going down. That's why, even though it hasn't been like officially stated yet, they're rumoring that these motherfuckers didn't even try the door. They was just waiting in that hallway, following Pete in the hallway, standing down, waiting.
The only thing stopping a hallway of dedicated officers from entering room 111 and 112 was the on-scene commander, who decided to place the lives of officers before the lives of children. The officers had weapons, the children had none. The officers had body armor, the children had none. The officers had training, the subject had none.
And we now know that much of that time was spent trying to find a key.
See that? Those are the doors. Those are the doors. So it's not like this guy had, I mean, and that door is, because of the way the door is big enough and the window is small enough to where you could literally creep up on that door, sneak up on the shooter. Just saying. You see that small window? You could be crouched down and be right in front of that door, and that dude wouldn't have known that shit.
Key to the classroom door, even though we know now that there is information based on body camera footage that no officer had even tried to open it. And McCraw says it is possible that the door wasn't locked in the first place, a possibility that officials say we may never officially know the answer to. Finally, we learned today that officers apparently had trouble communicating with each other as they were trying to figure out what to do. Their radios did not work inside that school, apparently, likely because of a bad cell phone signal. One final note, and we heard him do it just in that soundbite. McCraw placed the blame today on Pete Arredondo, the chief of the Uvalde School District Police Force, saying that he made a series of bad decisions. Senators did ask why officers didn't simply just go past him, but McCraw warned that doing so could have potentially created more confusion and more danger.
And that's why, just like when Brandon Tatum was talking about, I don't know why he put his radio down, but, I'm sure there was some reason to justify it. If you in the hallway with 10, 11, 12 other officers, if the comms ain't working, you ain't got no radio, you ain't got no cell phone, there's another communication device that's available. Now, I know a lot of people may not know about this because you may not have had the proper training, but if your radio is not working, cell phone isn't working, there's another form of communication called your voice. Your voice. There's voice communication that you can use in that hallway to approach. And it's not a lot of communication that needs to go on except for we going in. We slicing the pie and we going in. We hitting the door, we going in. On me, we going. Get up to the door, look, see what's going on, see if you can see anything. Even if you got to do one of these at the window right here, and you got to do one of these to look over. Or how about you can, I don't know, take your phone, put it up to the door, to the window, and you can see the video. So if he does shoot the window, he'll shoot your phone as opposed to shooting you. Because you don't want to put your face in the window. I get it. I can at least see. Yep. That's what, $1,000 phones do, iPhone 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, you can do that. Just saying, just to get a peek as to what's going on. Or you can just say, we're going to go hit this fucking door and we going in. Meanwhile, there are windows on the other side of the building. If we get his attention over here, y'all shoot at his ass over there. If you can get his attention at the window, we'll come in and shoot him from the door. This is not like, and I understand that there's a tactical aspect to this. I will not dispute that. There's a tactical aspect to this, but these guys this is basic tactical stuff. This ain't, you got to be SWAT to know how to do that. Nope. This is draw his attention using your whatever you bang on the windows. I don't give a damn. Draw his attention. We going to hit the door. Well, they couldn't coordinate that. Exactly. You try to shoot his ass and take his ass out. We gonna try to shoot his ass and take his ass out. We going in. That's it. Well, the phones don't work. I know. Go. Well, the radios ain't working. I know. We going. Well, Bortak ain't here. I know. We're going.
Unbelievable. And Tony, I know that we've had these kinds of hearings after each and every mass shooting that's happened in the state of Texas. What makes these hearings so much different than the ones we've had over and over again before?
Well, typically a lot of the times when we've had similar hearings in the past, they were driven by policy decisions. What is somewhat different about these two hearings, of course, both in the House and the Senate, is that these are, to an extent, investigative in nature, where lawmakers, similar to, frankly, after the power issues we had last year, where lawmakers are trying to get to the bottom of a complex issue and then potentially make laws based on the outcome of those investigations.
From the people you've spoken with involved in this, are the answers we're hearing now enough?
I mean, will we ever really have a complete picture? I mean, that's the question. And then how do you make sense of that information? And I think that's the question that the citizens of Uvalde and the parents of those 19 children, the loved ones of the two teachers, are going to be grappling with for the rest of their lives.
For those parents, it may never be enough.
Yeah.
And that's a good point, Angela. If the cell phones weren't working, I mean, I'm just, I'm just a regular guy. 1 + 1 = 2 in my world. If the cell phones weren't working, how were there calls made to 911 from within the school to dispatch? I understand that they say the radios weren't working, but if they're saying that the cell phones were not working, how could calls be made from within the school by students and teachers, not just one, multiple? How could those calls be made to 911? Somebody please just, I don't know, take a stab at it. I'm not the smartest man in the world. I just don't know, but I'm just saying. If they say that the cell phones didn't work and the radios didn't work, how were the victims in the classroom able to call 911? That's all I'm saying. That's the only question. I'm just asking a question that needs to be asked because I'm just trying to get to the truth. That's it. But there's some people that
want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Can't handle it. Several calls were made in that school, man. And I understand that reception may be bad. I get that, but several calls were made in that school. So reception wasn't that damn bad. Just saying.
Exactly.
Thanks, Tony. Senior reporter Tony Pilahetsky live with us here at the desk today. Tony, thanks. Matt Fernandez does join us now from the Capitol. He's been following the House hearing today.
And Matt, the Uvalde School District Police Chief did testify in that hearing today. Is that right?
He did. Chief Pete Arredondo testifying in front of an investigative committee behind closed doors in executive session.
What anything to say to the parents who called for your resignation?
Chief, McCraw said that you were wrong in the moment.
Chief, what do you have to say about the shooting? This is Chief Arredondo leaving the hearing in the elevator, not answering any questions from the media. This after he met with an investigative committee today that included House of Representative Dustin Burrow. The committee hearing testimony from law enforcement related to the facts and circumstances of the events related to the shooting at Robb Elementary. Arredondo has been very quiet since the shooting. He was the incident commander on site where 19 students died along with 2 teachers on May 24th. Officers waited more than 70 minutes to confront the shooter, and Arredondo was one of 2 people testifying today. Back to you.
Our Matt Fernandez.
And it's like, my thing is like, with all of that shit that's going on, it's like we can clearly put the pieces together to see, yeah, they screwed up. And it's like, what is it that he's trying to, I guess, and I believe that it's not just him, but I also believe that the council and all that kind of stuff, they're trying to cover up and not let, they're trying to hold back as much information as possible. Because I'm telling you, it's all going to come out eventually, and it's all going to come down on not just Arredondo, because he may get fired or whatever the case may be, but this is going to come back to the city. This is going to come back to the school district and all that. They're going to be liable for this shit. The department, the city, all of that. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate it, man. And also to Montreal, hit your boy with a couple bucks. I appreciate y'all, man. But they're all going to have to answer for this, because this is all, I'm telling you, we the most litigious country in the world for a reason. There's going to be some lawsuits, but my thing is, the lawsuits are inevitable. The thing is like, as far as just the transparency part of this, I think that's one of the things that matter, because that helps with actually trying to come up with better ways. Like as far as the doors and the types of doors, like they're just now looking at the doors and saying, oh, maybe we should have doors with no handles on the outside of the school to where, yeah, especially if it's not the main entrance.
It's almost incredible to see this type of response. Now, I'm going to submit to you, I don't believe there's any training in the world that could have helped this incident, Commander, because this last 25 minutes from 12:21 to 12:46 is a disgraceful diatribe of somebody that cannot possibly have responded to this crisis.
I appreciate it. Hit your boy with the whole $5.
The reasoning, there is no reasoning. The torrent of illogical statements here, and it is preposterous. And all along, people are dying. And what makes this more incredible to me is that there are at least 6 shots fired during this time.
Boom. Now, I know when other people have done videos and other people talked about this and other people have said, Brandon Tatum, that they've said that all of the shots was fired by the time the police got there in the hallway. Wrong. It's slowly but surely coming out. Those guys wasn't probably there for all 100 shots, but we know of at least 6. 6 bangs is 6 lives. That's how you got to look at it. Not to mention, here's the other piece of this. You have to also think, as opposed to say, well, if they got there and it was quiet, maybe they thought it was some type of some type of hostage situation. Maybe that was the truth. Nope. Because here's the thing. If the bangs have stopped, that still means that there are people in there that are severely injured, which is why you still have to go. There could be people who have bled. There could be somebody in there bleeding out. There could be somebody in there with a flesh wound, and because you waited 70 minutes, they died. You could have went in there, and that within that first 3 minutes of y'all getting in that house, because they were stacked up in 3 minutes. And if they would have went in, y'all could have stopped it and potentially saved some lives. Now, thank you, Chef X. I'm on my way. I'm on my way down the street. Now, aside from the 6 bangs you heard, I'm quite sure that there was some crying, there was some yelling, some screaming. There was plenty. I cannot imagine there not being any noise. And I see Don Joe is one of the conspiracy theorists that is saying that this was all a staged event and nobody died. Well, tell that to the parents that have gotten the caskets, and tell that to the kids that are in the ground. Tell that to I guess they staged all the funerals too. Yeah, okay. You can go ahead on with that, man. If you want to believe, I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you believe. You want to believe that this was all a hoax and that this didn't exist. Hey, man, that's your right as an American. You can go ahead and live that life you would like. But I'm telling you right now, I don't believe this. Now, I would say that this is, as far as not following the protocol and all that, Look it up, bro. There is nothing that's gonna make me believe that this didn't happen. You can email me what you done looked into that proves that. I'm not doing it. There's no point in doing that. That's like everything is just this whole it didn't happen? No. Nope. I ain't gonna say that one, bucko. You can try that with somebody else. You can try that one with somebody else. To say that this did not happen, that's just not being realistic. I'm sorry. That's just, yeah. You can talk about it. My thing would be this. If that's what truly happened and it didn't happen, then you should be able to submit plenty of evidence that shows that. Email it to me. therelationshiprehab@gmail.com or ugoa@gmail.com. I'm sorry, ugoa1791@gmail.com. Send me all of this wonderful evidence, and if that evidence amounts to that, I'll be glad to do a show and recant all that I've said. Well, I wouldn't even have to do that because I'm talking about the training and the protocol. But whatever. Google is my friend, and so is email. But yeah, you can have fun with that. Send me the information. Just like how people talk about there's a conspiracy for 9/11. Now, there's a part of that I can believe. There's some things about 9/11 that could dictate to, well, yeah, these motherfuckers kind of knew this was going to happen. Or maybe these motherfuckers did put the bombs in the building and all that kind of stuff. That could potentially have happened. But that still don't mean that them motherfucking people that died, them 3,000 people that died in 9/11 didn't die. I ain't going to say that them people ain't dead. Nope. Not doing that, bucko. Bro.
And I submit to you and members of the committee, every shot is a death. Why is this person shooting? He's killing somebody. But yet, this incident commander finds every reason to do nothing. And that's the tragedy of this document. Because clearly people were killed in the initial barrage you set up to 100 rounds. But at least 6 rounds were shot afterwards. Probably the individual targets, at least 3, you'd have to, because of the groupings. And that means 3 children probably died. A teacher bled out. An hour plus goes on. So is there any T-close or any way that officers coming into a situation like that with a clearly dysfunctional and total breakdown of command and control?
And here's my thing too. So you're telling me if this was all staged and this was all a big conspiracy, to what end would all of these people be a part of this conspiracy? Because obviously Arredondo is a part of this conspiracy. He has to be. But how many more people are involved in this? All of those officers that were there are in on it too? All of the Bortak people are in on it too? Everybody's in on it? I don't see it. I even saw a video where somebody was talking about the guns that this kid had bought. And it was like, man, how could this kid get these? Well, the ammo, they added up the guns, the 2 guns he had, the ammo. Talking about that's almost $10,000 worth of stuff. Man, let me tell you something. What else are you going to do with your money in Uvalde? This kid had been there, and the thing about that is, like, people are trying to make it say he was giving all that stuff. He was a plant, all that, whatever. But here's the thing. That kid had been talking about doing what he did for like 4 years. 4 years is more than enough time to get the funds together between him and his grandmama, his mama, and all of that. More than enough time to get that type of equipment and firepower together. Just saying. More than enough time to get it together. That's not something in today's world that's just like hard to do. Oh, he couldn't afford that. Bullshit.
That somehow that can be rectified at a shooting like this? Or are we just looking at a shooting that tragically and horrifically lasted so long it's so abnormal, so out of what the possible realm of responses are, that they simply no way to replace an incident commander that has literally melted into protoplasm.
Yep. Well, the only thing that make you more mad is to see the video. It'll be worse, I can assure you.
Exactly. 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 So when you think about all of this shit that didn't happen, when you think about all of the stuff that done went down, when you look at this and say, well, if they didn't do this, or if they did do this, then how did we get through all of this, and how did all of this stuff happen, and this was all a conspiracy? Then explain to me as to why there would be all of this type of carnage, all of this type of destruction and everything, but it's a conspiracy with who, for who, and to what end? To what end? That's all I'm saying. To what end would all of this stuff be taken into effect and taking taking place to get what done? To do what particular thing? Who's sacrificing 19 people? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I understand that, hey, it could be certain things that are conspiracy. I understand that all that kind of stuff could happen. Like I said, I'm only 5% conspiracy theory. The rest is, hey, look, man, this shit happened, and regardless of what the fuck happened, the fact that these dudes didn't follow protocol, none of them did, there's the conversation point. There's the point for conversation right there. What the hell does that mean? How can you dispute the fact that these dudes just didn't follow this? For what purpose? Nobody did? Nah. That's why I'm only 5% conspiracy theory.
You see it. It's, as we mentioned before, it's antithetical. Everything that we practice, preached, I mean, it's in contrary, and it is, unfortunately, what we're left with. And of course, we're trying to figure out solutions to this. And what
is there somebody in the chat named Ugly? Because I keep seeing that Ugly popping up. Ugly, you ain't got no alibi. I keep seeing that pop up, but I don't see anybody named Ugly. Is there somebody in the chat named Ugly? Because I know you can do that thing where you can make it to where certain people don't see your post or whatever, or what you post. So somebody else may be seeing it. Is there something? Oh, something we were talking about. Oh, wait. When you were spelling. I don't see them. Okay. All right, cool. But it's like with all of this stuff going right, and that's another great point, Chef. He killed his grandmama. That's part of the conspiracy too. Or shot his grandmama in the face. That's part of it too. Just saying. That was all a part of this elaborate scheme. I don't know.
what solution? What can you? How do you overcome?
That's just my thing. It's like and like I said, I'm not even mad at the fact that people are even, exploring this or mentioning this, but it is what it is. Just looking at the evidence and looking at what happened, it's like, okay, if that is the case, then let's get the evidence together to prove that. But then you got to still come with to say, okay, well, why did this happen this way? What was the purpose of this? So
an abject failure. That is how the director of DPS described the law enforcement response to the Uvalde school shooting. For 1 hour and 14 minutes, officers waited outside that classroom where a gunman killed 21 people.
Yeah, it's tough to hear. During a 13-hour public hearing, the DPS director says officers had the tools, they had the weapons to take the gunman down 3 minutes after the shooting started. This all comes on the heels of these surveillance images you're looking at, showing officers in the hallway with weapons. They were.
Hold up.
This all comes on the heels of.
Y'all see what's right there, right? At least 1, 2, 3 officers. I don't know if that's Arredondo or not, but there's at least 3 officers in that hallway with the ballistic shield right there. Now, some people, Brandon Tatum, has said that that could be just a regular handgun shield and not a rifle shield. Be that as it may, you saw the door. Between that door, that ballistic shield, even if it was a handgun, you got to go with what you got. And I've even said this. With them 11, 12, 13, and 9, 11 people in that damn hallway, you could have very easily taken a bulletproof vest, draped it over that shield, and had added protection. Facts. You could have doubled up on your vest to help with that protection. Just saying. But you can clearly see AR-15s. You can clearly see ballistic shield. What we waiting on, boss?
These surveillance images you're looking at, showing officers in the hallway with weapons. They were allegedly.
Do you see all these people? What y'all pointing y'all guns for? Hell, ain't shit happening in the hallway. Just saying. It's like, and from my perspective, it's like seeing this and seeing what these guys did. Man, come on. That's even more frustrating. That's adding the insult to injury. To see these guys there with means and being capable of actually breaching and going in, and they still didn't, it just makes it even worse.
Waiting for keys to open the classroom door, but DPS says it was actually unlocked the entire time.
See how small that window is? Do you see how small that window is? Why not come up there and try? Why not come up there and do something? I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Between the bulletproof vest, between the ballistic shield, whether it was rifle rated or firearm or handgun rated, with the steel door, y'all didn't even make an attempt to get in that room.
These revelations, as you can imagine, tough for people in the community of Uvalde to hear, especially so for the families of the 19 kids and 2 teachers killed inside that classroom. We will hear their reaction in just a moment.
Right now, though, Suzanne Bruner is with us. Suzanne, so much of the fallout over the police response is focused on School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo.
Yeah, it really has. There was actually a passionate plea from family members of victims killed in the school shooting, and they were asking the city council to not give newly elected councilman and the school district police chief Pete Arredondo a leave of absence.
And here's my thing. I don't understand why this dude is trying to take a leave of absence except for trying to save his job. That's the only thing I can think of. But it's like, trying to get a leave of absence for what, player? Where you think you gonna go? Unless he's just trying to save his job. It's like, man, come on. You got to face this music, bucko. And I'm sorry. It's like, I'm sorry that it's like a man may lose his job or whatever over this. But you trying to compare this guy trying to save his job to the amount of life that's been lost because of his inability to act and follow protocol? Why would somebody give this guy a leave of absence so that he can try to hang on to his job?
after he had requested one. It was unanimously denied, and here's that moment.
I make a motion we do not grant the leave of absence for Councilman Arredondo.
You can hear the cheers in that crowd. The council denying his request matters because if he misses more than 3 council meetings, the mayor and other council members can vote to remove him from his seat. They also talked about the state Senate hearing. So Mayor Don McLaughlin visibly frustrated, specifically with Texas DPS Director Steve McCraw, who testified about the failures police made once they arrived at Robb Elementary. So the mayor—
Well, I can tell you why he didn't step down. Now, I can tell you that. My thing is face the music and get fired, and hopefully you can get some type of unemployment. But that's why he didn't step down. That's exactly why he didn't step down. And my thing is, you know, where can this guy go after this? In all reality, just where can he go after this? Where can he go work in law enforcement or in any type of public office or anything like that after this? Can't. You just can't. It's just one of those things to where it's like, dude, because of the way you royally screwed this up, it's like you're going to have to ride this shit out. And hope for the best, maybe along the line somewhere else, maybe somebody can, put you in a hush, quiet position somewhere, but you ain't going to be able to be out front like you was, bucko. I'm sorry. You can't have that type of prestige, any type of a high-profile job. That's not possible.
The mayor said McCraw seldom mentioned his own department when talking about failures, pointing out 14 troopers were actually in the hallway that day, too.
There's mistakes in this made all the way around. And I've said from day one, in any interview that you've seen me, if we make mistakes, we have to own up to it. And we have to be big boys and we have to accept it, whether we like it or not, and we will. Yes. And every other agency there is going to have to be in the same deal that we're in.
McCraw did not talk about any other agencies that were there and have an accountability to everyone there as well. The mayor said the city was asked to remain silent as other departments investigate the shooting, but admitted the city has been in the dark all this time, getting no updates from the state, and even suggested, quote, maybe a new headline will be the city of Uvalde suing for information. Mark?
The district has said nobody will be coming back to that school, by the way. No one will be attending Robb Elementary in the future. Have they decided exactly what's going to happen there?
Yeah, so Mark, during last night's city council meeting, the mayor confirmed Robb Elementary School will be demolished. He said you could never ask a child to go back or a teacher to go back to that school ever.
Absolutely.
So a decision finally made on that.
All right, well, thank you for that update, Suzanne.
You can only imagine just how hard these latest revelations are really hitting the victims' families, who are still even just trying to come to grips with what they've lost and how to move forward.
They didn't want to do anything. They didn't want to do anything, and I just don't understand why that happened and how can you sworn to protect and you just hid behind a wall for 77 minutes.
This morning, the Special Senate Committee will be back in session, this time focusing on mental health.
And that's the other thing, too. It's like, it's one of those things to where because of the way this was handled, there's really nothing that you can do to try to cover this up. You're just prolonging the inevitable. Because even if he would have came out and said, yeah, I screwed up, I made a mistake, all of that, the toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't put it back in. There's nothing that you can do about that. And I would say this, definitely those parents that are in that town, would they probably like to move? Yeah, probably. But where do you just go in today's world? With today's housing market? Well, you just can't just pick up and just move like that. These people here ain't rich. It's like you got to now put your house on the market. Hopefully you can get a good price. But with the way the housing market is looking now, we about to have another recession and another housing market crash. But it's like you can't just pick up and leave. You can't. So it's like being in that town and having to deal with that. That's why I'm glad that they're tearing the school down. And my thing is even putting up some type of memorial garden. I saw somebody put that in the chat. But it's like, do you really want to do that? Where the school was? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just one of those things where this is so bad that it's like, it's one of those things where, what's the saying? Is it time heals all wounds? That's the only thing that you can really do. That's the only thing that you can really do. Now, those pictures that they showed, three-cornered, those are pictures from the actual footage. That's what DPS has. They've actually had access to the actual footage. They saw it. That dude, Stephen McCall, he saw it. And what he was explaining in there is basically the pictures from that. So yeah, that's not one of those things to where it's like, oh, well, you know, they're just using pictures from. Nope. He saw that. He's seen it. He's actually seen it. So it's like, it's just one of those things, man, where there is no win-win situation. This is just one of those things where it's just terrible all the way around. There's nothing that you can get. There's nothing to get past this or to fix this. This is one of those things, and like I've talked about in just relationships, about trying to get over stuff, how that's the wrong thing to get over things. You have to go through things. You have to go through the grief, the loss, the anger. You have to go through those, I forgot what they call it, the 5 stages of grief or something like that. But you have to just go through that. You have to have that moment where you're sad. You have to have that moment where you're grieving the loss. You have to have that moment where you're angry. You have to go through that, the stages of grief. Thank you, Amanda. You have to go through those things in order to actually get through it. You have to go through to get through. It's not a thing of getting over it or burying it or forgetting about it, because it's always going to be there. So the only way that you can do that is to get it to where you have to go through those emotions, deal with those emotions. This is going to be a fuck ton of counseling, all that kind of stuff. These people are going to they should be seeing counselors or psychiatrists for a very long time, years to come. Because that thing that we don't really think about now is what happens a year from now. What happens when the holidays come? What happens when it's Thanksgiving, when it's Christmas, when school opens? What happens when it's a year anniversary, when it's the 2-year anniversary? You're going to keep reliving this. You just can't get over this and you can just move on. It's not that easy. It's just one of those things where you literally have to say, we're going to have to work through this. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be a lot of grief, a lot of tears, a lot of sorrow.
He failed us. Do not make the same mistake he made and fail us too.
These kids didn't choose to be in the line of fire. That's in your job description. Who are you protecting? Not my sister. The parents? No.
Emotions running high from members of the Uvalde community during that heated city council meeting last night.
And that's what you have to do. You have to give these people the opportunity and give them the platform to speak their mind, to say what's on their heart. You have to give them that, because that's the only way that they can begin to move through this and to get through this. You got to listen to it. You got to hear it. It has to be done. It just does. As sad and as terrible as it is, it has to be done like this.
People of that town are still waiting for answers nearly a month after the shooting that killed 21 people, 19 children, and 2 teachers. Javier Casares is a parent who lost his daughter Jackie. Javier Casares.
Oh, shit. Hold up. Yeah.
Month after the shooting that killed 21 people.
So there's the timeline. 11:31 a.m. kicks off. 11:33. I can't see what that says, but I think it's 11:35. That's when officers. Yeah, 11:33. I think when officers arrive. 11:35 is when they enter the school. Then surveillance footage shows police in school this is 11:52 in the school with rifle and ballistic shield. That's 11:52 where they're in there and you can clearly see them there with the shield, with their rifles. 12:03 to 11:15, more officers entering the school. 12:50 is when officers finally breached the door and killed the shooter. Just saying. And it's like this, it's like it's just one of those things. I mean, a parent should never have to bury the child. We all know this. And it's like even worse when something like this occurs and you had no control over it, and those people that you would expect or have the expectation to do something do nothing. I think that's probably just one of the worst parts of this, because it's like if it was me and my children that were in there, I would be thinking that maybe, just maybe, had they breached at that 11:35, maybe one of the kids, maybe my kid, could have only just been shot and not dead. Maybe just my kid could have gotten medical attention and possibly survived. Just maybe. And you cannot discount that. You can't say, well, we don't know that, you weren't there. You're right. But there's a possibility that could have happened, which is why you go in.
People, 19 children, and 2 teachers. Javier Casares is a parent who lost his daughter Jackie that day at Robb Elementary. And even a month ago, he was critical of the police response. Take a listen.
As soon as they heard the gunshot, they should have rushed in. You know, that didn't happen. You know, more policemen came in increments. They were there unprepared. You know, they should have had shields in the cars. They should have had, you know, flag. You know.
Do you think they were unprepared, or were they cowardly? Were they disorganized?
I say all three. Honestly, in my opinion.
Javier is joining us once again tonight. He was at that city council meeting last night. Javier, thank you so much. I have thought about you a lot over the last month, and our heart breaks for everything that you have gone through. And we're frustrated with the police response. We are frustrated as a nation at the lack of transparency. I can't imagine the level of frustration you must be feeling.
It's very frustrating. Again, all the things that are popping up now, you know, all the new news that's coming up, it's very frustrating.
You're asking for accountability. I know you and other parents. That started at the top with Chief Arredondo. He has now been put on leave. Are you satisfied with that response from the council?
It's a baby step forward. You know, I hope there more comes out of it, but I mean, it is a step forward, and yes, we're happy with that.
What does accountability look like for you as they investigate further the events of that day?
I mean, it goes all back to the policemen, you know, from the DPS to everyone that was in that hall. You know, they didn't do their job, and you see it now, even more that, you know, more things are popping up that they didn't even check. They didn't check the door if it was locked or not. And that is ridiculous. Yeah. You know, I believe that things could have been different if they would have gone a lot sooner, if they would check that door.
And I'll say this, there's only so much that you can do and put on Arredondo. Is there accountability? Is there an accountability piece for him? Absolutely. Is there a discussion to be had about him and his actions? Absolutely. But there's only so much that you can put on him. And that's why I would hope that they turn this into a going forward moment on what we have to do and why it's so important to follow the protocol. Like Emil Bus said, SWAT should have arrived first. Well, in a big city, potentially yes, but because SWAT isn't expecting this, and in most departments that don't have SWAT, most of you got your large department. Let me explain something about SWAT. So you have your large police departments. They have SWATs, or they have what in Chicago we call it HBT, Hostage Barricade Terrorist Unit. So it's like you have that team that's there, that's ready to do this and address that. But in a lot of small towns, they don't have SWAT. And if a small town does have SWAT, that SWAT team has to be assembled. They got to send out the page for those guys to get together. They're not just sitting around in an office somewhere saying, yeah, we SWAT, waiting on some shit to happen. Those officers are usually working. Those officers are usually doing other things, or they may be off, or whatever the case may be, and they're waiting on that call. When they get that phone call or that page, whatever you want to call it, I don't know, they got beepers, whatever it is, they're waiting on that call. So then once they get that call, they usually will have their gear in the trunk of their car or their squad or whatever the case may be, and then they go. So it's not a thing, and that's why you can't wait for SWAT. You can't put that responsibility of SWAT being there first, because you don't have that kind of time. That's why the officers have to go. That's why the first officers that arrive on the scene, they do two things. They establish who's in charge, or the incident commander, and then they go. In this situation, that's it. That's just how it goes, because you can't wait for some special force to arrive to do this. They have to do it, which is why officers are trained for active shooter. And then I saw somebody else put in there in the chat, and I understood why they put it in there, but they said they should have let the parents go in. Why? They're not tactically trained. Even if they had guns, you can't let them go in because they're not tactically trained to address this type of threat. They're just not. And they could have went in there and shot kids themselves, or shot the wrong person, whatever the case may be. Lost, you're going to lose your faculties. If you're not trained for this, you're not going to be able to function in this. You're just not. You're just not going to be able to do it. So it's like, as much as, just in desperation, you would think, well, just let the parents go in because they wanted to die for their kids. I understand that, but that's not how this works. You can't let civilians go in a law enforcement capacity and actually, stop this guy. That's what law enforcement is there for. That's why they are trained. That's why they have the bulletproof vest. That's why they have the firepower that they have, so that they can go and address this threat. They can go and stop this guy.
Lives could have been saved.
Yes, ma'am.
What troubles you the most about the finger pointing and the blame game that is happening, not just with law enforcement, but at the state level? Now we have an investigation into DPS and the release of records so that we learn more about this. And you all, as parents, with so much heartbreak, are caught in the middle of all this. Does that add insult to injury, that nobody can seem to get along and agree and just meet in the middle and try to come up with what exactly happened that day?
Everybody's trying to cover their tracks, from the school board to the police, and it's aggravating, because my daughter's teacher had already had a couple instances where he told the principal to change that lock because it wasn't working. So it starts there, and it goes up the chain.
Are police telling you anything?
Right. Thank you. Jason just confirmed what it is I'm saying. They have to shout out to Jason Gunn. But Jason said it too. He's like, they have to assemble, dress, acquire equipment, be briefed, set up a plan of engagement, staging, and then their plan B when shit goes wrong. That's about 5 to 10 minutes. And they're doing that they're doing that in real time on the scene. Like, these guys will roll up in their vehicles, in their regular cars, if they don't have like their cruisers at their house. Like, some police officers get to take their cruisers home. But if they don't have that, they have their gear in their car. So their gear is ready to go. I'm not saying that they got to go and load magazines. They ain't got to do that. But they have to have their gear in a bag, and they're ready to go. They get the call, boom. They drive from wherever they are, whether they 10 minutes away or 30 minutes away, whatever the case may be, and they get there. By the time they get there, they get in the huddle. Hey, this is what we got. Sarge is there, whatever the case may be. And everybody's suiting up while they talking. That's the briefing that Jason's talking about. Hey, this is what we got. We got a guy in here. We got an active shooter. We don't know how many are dead. We don't know what's going on. They putting on their helmets and everything. They getting their shield and all that. they have no clue as to what's happening. They're just basically going off of what they've gotten from dispatch and what they've gotten from whoever's in command on the perimeter. Not the incident commander who's inside, but who's on the perimeter. So it's like, that's what they're doing. But that's if you got SWAT. If you ain't got no SWAT team, you ain't got none of that. You ain't got none of that. So it's like, and that's the whole point of this, is like, and just like how I tell people when you're talking about not in an active shooter situation, but just in a shootout, if you're in a gunfight, the most important thing is time. Time is your worst enemy. It is your worst enemy, literally. Because and hear this, every second that matters in a gunfight, active shooter, or any type of shooting, seconds matter. Seconds. Not minutes, not 30 minutes, 74 minutes, 22 minutes. Seconds matter. Seconds are determining who lives and who dies. That's it. That's just how this goes, which is why the protocol and the procedure for this is the way that it is. Get in there now, and don't stop until the threat has been eliminated. That's just how this goes, and that's why it goes this way.
Thing that they're not sharing with the public, that we're not hearing in these hearings? Is there communication happening with the families directly involved?
No, ma'am. No word at all.
Jason said a magazine can be emptied in 2 seconds in the right hands. If it's an automatic, yes, it can. If it's an automatic rifle, yes. You can't empty a magazine with semi-automatic in 2 seconds, but he's saying that in just the time as to how fast you can pull that trigger. Yes. Handguns and all of that kind of stuff, it's seconds. It is seconds. So it's like when you're talking about just how this happens, it's not about saying, well, you got off 35 rounds in 12 seconds. Yeah, that can be true, but how many people, because in this situation, people are gonna die. People are gonna get shot. But the quicker you stop the threat, the more potential you have to save a life. Someone who didn't get shot or someone who actually is shot. You can get in and apply pressure to a wound and potentially save a life. You can potentially keep someone from bleeding out. There's still going to be people that die. That guy who's up here talking about his daughter that died, and my heart goes out to him, she could have been dead and there wouldn't have been nothing they could do about it because of the asshole who decided to do this. That's where this whole thing is definitely saying that's the whole blame. To say the guy who did this shit, he's the piece of shit who needs to burn in hell. I get all of that. But the thing is, the reason why you go in is because you're trying to help those that are hurt, and you're trying to help those who potentially may not be hurt yet. That's it. There are 1,000 different variables as to how this could happen, and this could happen a different way somewhere else, and it could happen a different way in another city, a different type of shooter, whether the shooter was trained or whether the shooter wasn't trained. All of that is just, it's all subjective. But the thing is, you want to just get in and stop. Because if he got off 100 rounds or whatever the case may be in 2 minutes, that's possible. Very possible. But that doesn't mean that each one of those shots ended a life. It could have missed and it could have injured. Just what it is.
How about local politicians? Who's in your corner?
Just last night, we heard different things from the mayor that there is a lot of pointing fingers, and at first we had the indication that he didn't have our backs, but now I mean he finally spoke up and says that he's tired of being in the dark himself, and that's the thing, he was and still is being held in the dark.
None of us will ever forget that day, and seeing the crosses outside Robb Elementary just is a chilling reminder of the horrific and evil events. You had to bury your little girl, Jackie. All these weeks later, how are you doing?
It was, after we buried her, we celebrated her 10th birthday on June 10th.
That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. You can't get past this, because just like how this happened, he had to celebrate a birthday, man. He had to celebrate his daughter's birthday. What do you say to that? There's nothing that you can say to get to there are no words. There is no level of comfort. There is nothing that can be done to ease what it is that these people are going through. Nothing. Nothing at all. And I'm going to make my point to end this. I'm going to talk about one other thing, then I'm going to end it. But this is why you want to be able to say, as a police officer, as a law enforcement department, as SWAT, BORTAC, Uvalde PD, whoever else, you want to be able to say this. We went in and we stopped them as fast as we possibly could. We are sorry if it was, because here's my thing. If they would have got there and there only would have been 18 dead, it's worth it. If they would have got in there and they would have stopped it and it only would have been 17 dead, 16, 15, 14, 13. That's why you go in. That's why you don't wait. Because it's my job as a police officer responding to an active shooter to stop the threat, because that can determine that number going up. That's it. You can't stop it all. You can't keep it from happening. It won't ever stop happening. There is no amount of legislation, and I'm getting to this point now. There is no amount of legislation. There is no amount of gun control. There is no amount of any type of laws or bylaws or changing this law. There is nothing that can stop this from happening. But you can, if you follow the protocol, you can potentially save a life, and that's worth it. That's the whole point of this. So all of this, and this is to those politicians and the people that are looking at these politicians, don't get caught up, and I'm just saying this because it's true. Don't get caught up in the fact that these 19 people have died and that so many children have lost their lives and that we got to do something because of that. No, it's not what this is about. This is about saying we have to, first of all, follow protocol so that this doesn't happen as bad as it did. Number one. The other part to that is there is no gun control that will keep this from happening. So we need to make sure that our schools are safe and that our citizens are armed to help in preventing this from happening the way that this happened. To actually help and have people who can actually confront these guys that do this, and girls. There's been a few women active shooters. That's what you want to do. That's the whole key to all of this, and talking about this, releasing the footage, having the hearings and all. It should be about that. We want to make sure that we have good guys with guns. We want to make sure that our law-abiding citizens have guns to be able to stop this kind of stuff from happening in the grocery store, happening at a movie theater, happening anywhere else, at a park, at a baseball field, at whatever the case may be. Because I promise you this, the next active shooter is gonna go to a gun-free zone just like this one did. The next active shooter is gonna go somewhere where he knows the pickings are ripe, because they gonna go to a nursing home. They gonna go somewhere where they know people don't have guns. They're gonna do it. That's just what it is. They want the path of least resistance, and they want to, they want to find soft targets. They are looking for lambs to slaughter. That's it. That's why they're going to go to a church. And I'm going to tell you like this, even going to a church, this is one of the reasons why these churches need to get on board with having security as far as their parishioners. Look what happened in White Settlement here in Texas. Look at what happened in Duncanville. Same thing. Soft targets galore, but you had good guys with guns, and what happened? They stopped him. Stopped him in his tracks, showed him that I am ruthless. That's what they did. Now, you can always say, well, it was a different scenario, a different situation. Yes, that is true. There are no two active shooters that will be alike. But you have to have people that have guns that are in these places so that they can, at the bare minimum, have some form of confrontation with these shooters.
At the cemetery, and it's been very, very hard. We all have our moments. We try to be strong, but it'd be different if she had cancer and we were prepared for something of her passing. But the way she was taken away from us so young and violently, it's hard. It's very, very hard.
She is just beautiful, Javier. Thank you for sharing her with us, for talking to us tonight, for talking to us when your wounds were still raw after the shooting. We're thinking about you and all of the people impacted by this tragedy.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. God bless you.
And I'm telling you like this, the way that this guy is able to speak, it's because I promise y'all this, man. Don't think that this guy is okay. Don't think that this guy is good because he was able to talk. Nope. It gets to the point to where you get all cried out. Don't mean you won't cry no more, but you get all cried out. You just do. And you get to the point to where you're trying to say something and speak up, so because you don't want people to forget. You don't want people to just start getting numb to this like they are in Chicago. Uh-oh. You don't want it to where people just think, oh, well, what he has to do is just, if we could just get rid of the guns, then we can. Nope. If we could just make it to where they 21, this wouldn't have. Nope. If we got rid of all of the guns, we could. Nope. It's just a thing to where you have to realize that this is one of those things to where it's going to continue to happen. And the only way that we can actually minimize it is to have good guys with guns. And we have to have our law-abiding citizens to be in positions to where they can protect themselves and they don't have to jump through 1,000 hoops to do it. Which is one of the reasons why I'm so glad that the Supreme Court overturned New York's gun laws. They are literally unconstitutional. It's been unconstitutional. And finally they overturned that shit and said, hell no, y'all can't do that. And it's like, and I understand to all those people, shout out to Jason, thank you for the donation, man. And to the people that have thought that this was the way to actually do this. This was the way to actually say, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to stop. That is not the way. It doesn't work. Look at the crime in California. Look at the crime in Chicago. Look at the crime in New York. Just those 3 cities alone. LA, California, and New York. I mean, I said LA, California. Wow. LA, New York, and Chicago. Strictest gun laws in the country. Chicago, New York, and LA have the strictest gun laws in the country. And the fact that those guys still have this problem lets you know that that's not the solution. Text me, Jason, what points you want to make, because I don't want the show to run too long. So just text me what points you want to make, and then I can see if I can bring you up to make it if it's something I haven't said already. So go ahead and do that. But that's just what it is, because when you look at what's going on in Chicago, and you look at the fact that they're trying to blame the guns now because we got all the gun laws. It's these other cities that's bringing in the guns. It's the guns coming from Indiana. No, it's not. It's criminals that are actually doing the shit that is happening in the city. You need to stop the criminals. Banning guns is not going to stop criminals from committing crimes. It's just not going to happen. So when you're talking about saying, hey, look, we're going to go and we're going to take your AR-15s. We're going to take your AK-47s. You're going to take them from who? If you all can't catch the criminals, if you all are the ones letting the criminals back out on the streets, then whose guns are you taking? Mine? Yeah, you're goddamn right, we're going to take your guns. Okay, how does that stop crime? That's why when I had the show a couple of weeks ago, when people were talking about this stuff don't happen in Australia, this stuff don't happen in Canada, it don't happen in other countries, that's because other countries don't have guns like we have them. That's because other countries don't have the freedoms and the rights that we have in this country. And that's why I tell anybody that ever tries to compare what we do here in America to another country, they're misinformed or they're just flat out idiots. That's just what it is. That's just like me talking about a third world country and how they provide medical care and comparing it to America. They don't have the infrastructure that we have here. If you had hospitals and if you had clinics every 3 to 10 miles, it would make the whole third world country so much more healthier. No, it won't. There's so many other pieces to that. And just because of where we're at as a country, getting rid of our guns, it's not possible. I'm sorry. It's just not possible. I think they estimate something like 300 million guns in this country. Who gonna catch and grab and confiscate or take 300 million of anything? How? How do you do that? How do you do that? You can't. If we had stricter gun laws or make sense gun laws, we would be able to do this. No. Because there's still going to be a guy who's going to get a gun illegally and he's going to plan an active shooter. There's still going to be a guy, there's still going to be a girl who's going to want to shoot somebody, and if they shoot the person they aiming at or they shoot 5 other people that wasn't even involved, still going to happen. Whether it's with a gun obtained legally or illegally. So this whole gun control thing, it makes no sense. It just doesn't. So that's how you have to look at this. You can't just take the approach of just thinking, well, if we would just do this, that would just resolve it. No, it won't. But I tell you what it would do. It would take the gun out of these law-abiding citizens' hands, so when they do need to protect themselves, when they do have a home invasion, when they do have a robbery, when they do get robbed at a gas station, when they do have somebody run up on them, run in their house, try to snatch their kid, if they chasing or be robbing or snatching a purse in a Walmart parking lot, whatever the case may be, they can actually fight back instead of hoping the police get them. There's no way you're going to stop this without the people being in position to defend themselves. Taking the guns out of law-abiding citizens' hands is nothing but an agenda to disarm this nation so that the politicians can literally be in complete control. They want to be able to control what you do, where you go, what you can say, what you can't say. That's what this whole gun control ploy is, this whole gun legislation stuff is. It's all about that. It's not about stopping Uvalde. It's not about stopping a Columbine. It's not about stopping what's the other one with the other kids, the other school. I can't even think of it, damn it. That's what it's about. It's not about trying to make it safe. They're just trying to control you. Virginia Tech, that's another one. Sandy Hook, thank you, John. It's not going to stop those. There's always going to be another one. And until we are armed as a society and until we are confronting these people when this happens, we can only minimize or mitigate some of the violence. That's it. That's it, and that's all, dude. So don't let the government get you into this mindset to think that they can save you, because I'm telling you like this. The same government that's trying to tell you that they can save you is the same goddamn government that can't balance the budget. Same motherfuckers. These motherfuckers can't either. The person who's in charge of the Treasury, appointed by Joe Biden, she got on national television and said, I didn't know that inflation was going to come up like this. I didn't foresee this happening. You know what her job is? Her job is to forecast that and to foresee it. That's the job, like a weatherman. A weatherman is supposed to study different systems and different storms to actually predict what's going to come and hit in the areas that they're in. So they will watch a storm develop in the Atlantic Ocean and watch and track it and see where it's going to go, so they can say, oh shit, everybody, it's going to be a hurricane that's going to hit Houston in about 2 days. Get the fuck out. That's just what it is. So it's like when you have that type of mentality and you tell them about these people are saying, y'all can't even do what the fuck y'all supposed to do, but yet and see, you gonna tell me what we need to do? You can't guarantee shit. The only person that can guarantee your safety, hear this. The only person that can guarantee your safety, the only person that is gonna be able to make you as safe as you possibly can, is you. You're the only one. And if you're scared, prepare to be a better victim. Prepare to be a victim. You don't want that responsibility? Prepare to be a victim, because it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You living in your gated community, yeah, you safe for now until somebody comes into your gated community. You got to go out and get gas. You got to go out and get food. Every time you step out the door, you're in danger. You sitting in your house, somebody could kick in your door. You're in danger. You in the parking lot at Walmart. You're in danger. You at the gas station, you're in danger. You at the movie theater, you're in danger. You at church, you're in danger. When you're at school, when you drop your kids off at school, they are in danger. That is the world we're living in. Not just the country, the world. It's a simple matter of when someone else decides to do something else to you, you're either prepared or you're not. That's what we live in. That's the world that we're in. So it's not a thing of thinking that the government got this great plan to save you and it's just the Republicans that's holding it up. We could do something right now, but the senators are not letting it happen. It's bullshit. It's not true. I'm going to go ahead and let my boy Jason have a few words. We're going to keep it short, Jason, so I can wrap the show up, but I'm going to call you, man.
Hey, what's up, brother? Hold on.
You there?
Okay. Hey, I just want to try quick. You there, Brian?
Yeah. Hold on. I want to see if I can. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear him. Go ahead.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Y'all can hear him perfect. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, well, it's an evolving act is what the police look at. So after they arrive and they do all that stuff we talked about earlier, you have to go based on what's going on at the moment. You can't go based on what happened in the past. So that's going to make change. That's going to take time. That's going to, because you got to make a plan. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Active shooters, they already have a plan. That's the problem. They already know what they're going to do. They know what their intent is. They know where to go. They know how to get there. They're going to do it as fast as they can. They're not going to sit there and sit down and calculate what they're going to do. They've already done that. It's already been a done thing. So you're not going to prevent any kind of active shooter, no matter what these people say. I understand children died. I get that. Totally understand.
Right.
But you're not going to ever prevent an active shooter. Stop thinking like that. Stop put the blame on the shooter and punish them as harshly as you can. They're underage. In my book, the parents should be punished as harshly as what the child did. So somebody is held accountable. You can't keep holding the police accountable for other people's actions. Local police are reactive. They're not proactive. That means that they react to what the calls that they get. They don't go out there and they're not proactive. The drug teams are proactive. SWAT team is not proactive. They are reactive. The gang team is proactive. They're not reactive. The gang team is not responding to an active shooter. There'll be calls, don't get me wrong, for backup, but they're not called for an active shooter. It's just not. The car theft team is not called for that. They're called for backup, but that's not their job.
Okay, so when you're talking about, let me make sure that we're clear here. So when you're talking about active shooter, are you saying that these police officers, that because of them being a reactive department, you're saying that they're not to blame with what they did, with what these police officers did in this active shooter situation? Or are you saying that just in general?
In general.
Okay.
Because I don't want to bat down on a specific shooting.
Okay, so you're just talking about in general.
I would not be correct if I would do that.
No. Okay, gotcha. All right, we on the same page then. And I guess
I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm just making sure. Yeah, I was just making sure. So like, and like even with what you're saying as far as like with the parents, it's like the parents being held accountable to what their children are doing or what their children have done, if they aid in that, as far as saying, yeah, I know, like the kid that did the shooting, and his parent and the guy's parents bought like a gun for Christmas or something like that, and the kid was shooting it or whatever, and then like a couple of weeks later he went and did a shooting the day that they were up at the school for the bullshit that the kid was doing, and they just was like, oh, we didn't know or whatever, something like that. It's like to hold them accountable for that part. If they had a direct impact on it, then yes, there could be some type of legal action taken against them. As far as what this kid did with his grandmother or whatever, shooting his that what this dude did, shooting his mother and his grandmother in the face and all that, there's a part of this to where I think that there are telltale signs for this, and I pointed this out in another show about social media. If they can ban me, if they can put me in Facebook jail for saying, you know, COVID is some bullshit, or they lying about COVID, then they could damn sure see when somebody posts up, yeah, I'm gonna shoot some people tomorrow. They could damn sure get that flagged and have the police there in a matter of, you know, of minutes or hours or whatever the case may be, because the good old-fashioned algorithm is always listening. Big Brother is always listening. So I believe that there's a lot of responsibility put in those aspects, because these kids, these men, these women, they're posting this shit on their social media, and if those things aren't being triggered in the algorithm, then I would definitely put that responsibility on a Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, so on and so forth. These people, the same way they hold, if y'all got time to listen to President Trump and kick his ass off social media, you damn sure should be able to listen to some kid talking about, yeah, in 4 years, I'm gonna go shoot this motherfucker up, and be able to get his ass to where there's some type of police report, some type of police contact, or whatever the case may be. You know, like I've talked about being able to do what we call temperature checks. You got somebody that made a threat, or somebody that said some wild shit, or is acting unstable, and the family members called, police will go and see what's going on with this guy and say, let's see if this guy's on some crazy shit or whatever, and they'll make contact. Same thing with that, with a kid who's posting on Facebook with brand new guns, brand new rifles, talking about, ooh, I can't wait till tomorrow, my old grammar school gonna feel it.
So let me ask you this question, because I want to be on the understanding. Are you saying that social media in some aspects are promoting and allowing these people to do these actions?
I absolutely believe that that social media, they are in no shape, form, or fashion trying to deter the behavior that our young people are doing, period.
Because we need to talk about that. That's
period. I mean, just like how you can go, it's certain. I gotta say this just because it's the fucking truth. And you know, most people
want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
But you got somebody like Tommy, who has lost how many Instagram accounts, how many Facebook accounts, right? But then you can go on Instagram and you can literally see pornography on Instagram.
Yeah, you can. A whole lot of it, too.
And I was just about, and we're not talking about one or two that slip through. I'm talking about pornography. It's almost like fucking Pornhub or some shit like that. Yeah, so how is it that you got somebody who's literally making a post about a black bitch who let her boyfriend kill her kid, and you say a black bitch ain't shit? That person loses their Instagram, loses their Facebook, is kicked off of social media. But then you can have that same woman sucking dick in a courtroom, and hey, it is what it is. She could be having giving head in a car somewhere and just recording, talking about this how I get down. I'm in my demon mode, and that's just it. It's like that shit is ridiculous that is allowed to go on, which just further points out they can control it. They could police it if they wanted to, but they don't.
Brian, I just got out of Facebook jail. Do you know what I did to get in Facebook jail?
What?
Quote a verse of the Bible to a black woman.
And there you have it.
and I quoted the verse, put the verse and the words on her response, and I got jailed. And I hadn't been on Facebook for a couple of weeks. That's the only thing I did, and I got jailed. They put me off for 30 days.
And there you have it. I'm gonna tell you, I don't even post on Facebook no more just because I don't want to deal with the shit. I got put in Facebook jail, and this was maybe about almost a year ago. I got put in Facebook jail because of this. Someone hacked my account and posted up a picture of like some rednecks with a militia or something like that, holding guns. It was just a picture. No words, no posts. I caught it within an hour of it happening. I believe it was my wife that told me. She's like, what the hell is that on your Facebook? And I was like, I don't know what the hell you talking about. I ain't been on Facebook. And I went and looked and I said, oh shit, I think I must have got hacked. Changed my password, deleted the post, and by the time I logged back in, this was within a couple of hours, I had already gotten a notice. You can't go live on Facebook for 30 days. If you do this shit again, you can get your account. And I got hacked. Like, that wasn't even me posting that. But y'all can't catch a kid telling you he's going to shoot up a grammar school when he graduates? Man, I can't.
You know how many things I've seen on Facebook that are like totally just outrageous that we see on Facebook on a daily basis?
Yes.
And they don't get banned or nothing.
Yes. And even when you think about how long it takes when you have the viral postings of like child pornography, like the kid, the dude, the old man who posted the video of that little girl giving him oral sex. That shit went viral before they got that shit down.
Yep.
It's like, come on, man.
I made my post and I got banned in less than 5 minutes. I got a message in 5 minutes.
Instantly. But you got child pornography going viral on your platform, but you can't, and it's like, but you can stop me for quoting a Bible verse?
Brian,
that's just what it is.
Get a like, bro.
Man, exactly.
I ain't get one like. But look, let me let you go because I know.
Yep.
I appreciate you. Thank you for
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. And thanks for the donation, bro. Yep, later.
No problem, brother.
All right, man.
Love you, child.
Love you too. Peace. But it's like those are the things that we have to like really look at to hold these motherfuckers accountable. It's like, I don't remember about R. Kelly's piss video being up for a long time. I don't remember that, John. I do remember, because I saw that on DVD. Motherfuckers was burning that shit, passing that shit around. That was different. But I'm just saying there's so many things that you can literally get flagged for saying the words. Say the word grape. Y'all know what that is. Say the word Jews. And you will see what happens to your shit just like that. Like Brother Noomsy. Just like that. Right. We had, do you know how many fucking code, what's up, Bolo? You know how many code words we had for Corona? Couldn't say, we were saying how many code words we had for the shot. I was calling the shit the hokey pokey. That's the only way I could talk about it. So it's like when you see these type of things and we're just talking about the accountability piece of it, where are the politicians talking about the Facebooks, talking about the Instagrams, and talking about the YouTubes that allows this shit to go on? It should be one post. I mean, it should be one report of a post about an active shooter shooting these people up, shooting that person up, even if it's somebody on the video and they live with a gun. Talking about blah, 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 with the little magazine with the drum on the bottom of their handgun. That should be one report. You report that shit one time and that should be your ass in Facebook jail, your ass kicked off Facebook, and nigga, we gonna send this shit to the police. If they did that and made that a policy, there you go. You can't be on Facebook talking about you gonna shoot somebody up and just saying. But it's one of those things to where what? Our country has repeatedly over the years endorsed bad behavior. They've rewarded bad behavior. The debauchery, rewarded. Algorithm don't fuck with you when you talking about you want your son to be dressed up like a girl and you want your kids want to go fight somebody else's kids, or you want to go jump on a kid at a school bus. That shit goes on Facebook forever. Still up there today. It's just what it is. We have this thing to where we are so focused on trying to stop law-abiding citizens from having their freedoms than we are to hold accountable these entities that are literally perpetuating the debauchery and the violence in our own communities. I'm just saying. Those are the kind of things that our legislation should be talking about. But you know why they won't say nothing to Facebook? You know why they won't say nothing to Google? You know why they won't say nothing to those guys? Because they need them for their own, for their own campaigns. When they're running for office, they need to have the algorithm promote they next campaign, their agendas. It was just like how you could put up a video talking about Donald Trump, all through the algorithm, getting promoted, pushed out, going up, going high. Put out a video about Joe Biden. That shit wasn't getting no traction. I got videos right now where I was talking about Joe Biden, and I shit you not, or Kamala Harris, and I shit you not, the fucking video was getting like maybe 600 views. When I'm averaging anywhere between 12 to 1,200 to 2,000. Usually at the end of my show on my relationship rehab channel, usually if average show, I got 800 to 1,200 views at the end of the show. Doing one about Joe Biden, 450. Doing one about Kamala Harris, 450. That lets you know that they know exactly what they're doing. Now, if I'm talking about Donald Trump is a racist, oh yeah, that's out there. And then if they know what your channel is about, they'll do it to your whole channel. Hence the shadow ban. Right, you talk about 9/11 and being a conspiracy? Oh, you can forget it. Y'all remember that conspiracy channel time you had? That shit was up for what? 2-3 weeks? Gone. Gone. Just like that. So that's my thing. I just wanted to be a point to where, like I said, looking at what this is about, and I guess my biggest thing about this and that I want to get people to understand from this is the following the procedure and the protocol of this was the biggest screw up that happened. And then the other piece of this is the fact that they're trying to do damage control and cover this up. It's terrible. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And I just wish that we would just have our legislation come up with ways to actually make sure that our own government that we're funding, that we're paying for, can just be as transparent as possible. That's just it. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show tonight. I really appreciate each and every last one of y'all. I'm so glad I got to do this show. Thank you to Jason for calling in. Shout out to Bolo. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Big Time of 24 Gaming. Shout out to all my subscribers. Shout out to all my members. But I just want to thank you guys for just always tuning in and supporting the show. Thank you for clicking the like. Thank you for each and every donation, whether it's $2, $25, or $200. I really do appreciate you all. I love you all. And until next time, what did Jerry Springer used to say? Take care of yourself and each other. But no, until next time, I'll probably be able to do a show probably tomorrow as well, because I got some real good fuckery that I want to show you guys. And man, last but definitely not least, shout out to my brother Tommy Sotomayor, wherever you at, brother. I'm praying for you, and I can't wait till you come back, bro. I love y'all. I love you, brother. Peace, and I'm out. What's going on, everybody out there in the internet world? It's me, Brian Redmond, also known as the Relationship Rehab, and I Go ahead and put Tommy up in the chat, y'all. Put that Tommy up in the chat.
Subscribing to both my channels. I need
Spam
you to
that
go
chat
to
with
the
my boy
Relationship
name.
Rehab, subscribe to that channel, and then I need you to go to United Guns of America and go to that channel. Now you may be asking, why would I do that, Brian? Because it's two of the hottest channels on the internet. Come over there, give me your thoughts, give me your opinions, have conversations, because that's what it's all about. We talk about some of everything: politics, relationships, guns, law enforcement, community stuff. Anything that's happening, I'm willing to have a conversation about it. So come on over. You don't got nothing else to lose, and you ain't got nothing else to do. So come to my channel, subscribe ASAP, and join in on the fun. Twice the entertainment, 2 channels, twice the fun. Come on and have a funky good time with your boy. Peace, and I'm out.